And it's because she deserves it so much. She's worked really hard. She trains like a machine. She's always training. Do you know what? I've been lucky enough to see her train in the gym and spar in the gym. And I think what makes her special is she hasn't had a pro fight yet. Yeah, when I watch her spar, it's like I'm watching a seasoned pro. But you know, I like Dan Aziz, man. We've got the same thing. He's Super Dan, I'm Super Youssef. And you know, we're both supers going and taking over boxing. He's a good fighter, he hits really hard. I remember watching his last fight against Jose Burton and he just took him apart. Do you know what? It might start off a bit cagey because both carry dynamite in their hands. I think maybe towards later into the fight, maybe round 5 or 6, they're both going to let their hands go and whoever lands is going to win the fight. I don't think that's going to go to the decision. I think someone's getting knocked out tomorrow.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. The last time we had a conversation, I think, was on Dillian Whytes' show, innit? November Heist, actually. So November the 6th, 2021. Wow. Here we are at BOXPARK, Wembley, with Youssef, Super Youssef, Khoumari. Welcome back. How you doing?
Listen, I'm good. There's boxing in my hometown. I had to walk 5 minutes to get to the weigh-in. I'm over the moon. I'm usually traveling hours and hours to get to these places. So one that's round the corner. I'm happy, man. I'm excited.
So how have you found the event so far? Obviously it's set up, it's a nice surrounding. We're here upstairs. Just got commission to film up here because it's moving a bit mad still. But how have you found the whole kind of like boxer setup?
Do you know what? It looks really good. It looks really professional. It just looks really good. The fighters jumped on the stage for the weigh-in today. I was here for the press conference yesterday as well. Yeah, it's really good. I think they chose a really good venue as well. There's people walking in and out, so you know a lot more people can be drawn towards the event. It's a great event tomorrow. You know, there's some good fighters on. Shannon Ryan's on, Chris Kongo's on, and then we've got a dynamite main event. You know, Jumah and Riakporhe. It's gonna be good.
And that's the fights we're going to talk about. First of all, you're kind of like gym mate Shannon, obviously same area, the mixture of coaches, somebody that I've also seen in IQ, which is your home gym. What are your thoughts on Shannon making her debut and obviously being signed with 258?
Do you know what? I'm just so proud someone from my gym has been able to jump straight to the big stage like that. And it's because she deserves it so much. She's worked really hard. She trains like a machine. She's always training. It's like, right, when do you rest? When you're training here, then you go to another gym, train again, go to another gym, train again. Like, right, are you gonna rest? And you know, she's worked throughout the COVID period when it was a bit unsure for everyone. Nobody knew when they were gonna box again, if boxing was gonna come back, and she just stuck to it and kept training. And you know, her time has finally come for the world to see the start of her journey towards world titles because she's very, very talented.
And when you talk about her talent, what is it that about Shannon? Because I know she comes from, you know, a kickboxing martial arts background. What is it that's special about her? Because there's a lot of heat around her. Obviously, she's signed with 258, so that's going to come with kind of like the eyes as well. What is special about Shannon, and what do you think she's going to bring on Saturday night?
Do you know what? I've been lucky enough to see her train in the gym and spar in the gym. And I think what makes her special is she hasn't had a pro fight yet. Yeah, when I watch her spar, it's like I'm watching a seasoned pro. Someone who's been at world level already. Someone who's won a world title already. Sometimes you got to remind yourself she hasn't had a pro fight yet. So I think people are going to be in for a treat when they see, you know, the talent come out on Saturday night. It's going to be a good one.
And we're talking about talent on Saturday night. It is quite of a stacked card. But one of the opponents that I want to speak to you about as well is Dan Aziz, light heavyweight. Light heavyweight and cruiserweight, really tasty division in the UK at the moment. It's getting spicy. We're starting to get those domestic dust-ups. Dan Aziz was supposed to fight his an old opponent of him that he fought in the amateurs, Tinker. Obviously something happened there and he's not fighting. What are your thoughts on Dan Aziz? Because I don't really know much about his replacement.
I know nothing about his replacement. I didn't even know until I saw them both go up on the stage and I thought, hold on a second, that don't look like Matt Tinker. So I was asking around, going, what happened to Matt Tinker? What happened to Matt Tinker? So, you know, unfortunately the fight's been called off for whatever reason. But, you know, I like Dan Aziz, man. We've got the same thing. He's Super Dan, I'm Super Youssef. And, you know, we're both supers going and taking over boxing. He's a good fighter. He hits really hard. I remember watching his last fight against Jose Burton and he just took him apart. I was thinking, right, maybe they might have to throw in a towel for this one because he's killing him. So, you know, he's strong. He can box. He can fight. It's gonna be a good show tomorrow.
And it's a good thing for Dan as well because obviously he was out the limelight for a bit. I think it's another one that probably had nearly 2 years out. And then obviously came back on the Boxer show with Jose Burton, like you said, proper schooled him in there. Jose was looking terrified at some points. Like you said, the towel could have come in easy. And then he gets signed, and now he's moving on to obviously bigger and better things.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see guys like Dan and even Richard and Jumah fighting on a big stage like this, because if I remember properly, we all started on the small hall. They all started on a small circuit. Remember, Richard started on a small circuit. I remember Jumah was on a small circuit. He was on a couple. I think he was on a couple of shows that I was meant to box on, and it's like more opportunities are rising for us boxers to get on these kind of stages. Whereas before, it was a bit tight. You know, these opportunities they came, but they came very rarely, and you had to jump at anyone that came. Whereas now, you know, there's Sky, there's the Zone, there's a lot more for us to take opportunities with. And it's good for us, it's good for boxing. We're starting to get the bigger and better fights now. Like, we've got the fight tomorrow night, we've got BOXXER Richards as well coming up on the Zone. It's getting better and better. More fights that we want to see are happening.
And that's what we like, the domestics. There's something about it, there's like, I don't know, like a kind of like a magic in the air with it, because it's personal. We've seen it, and we're going to move on to the headline. People are sitting on the fence, people can't make a decision. I'm one of them. It's awkward. How did you find that the weigh-in and then obviously the face-off? I was going to call it a weigh-off then, but no, the weigh-in and the face-off.
Do you know what? It looked tense. The face-off looked really tense, and it's what you want to see as a fan or someone. I'm going as a fan tomorrow. I'm just going to enjoy boxing, and as a fan, that's something you want to see. You want to see spite in the two boxers. Don't get me wrong. It's good to see two fighters that respect each other, but it needs to be that little bit of spite that's going to entertain us and make us look forward to the fight. It's almost like when Derek Chisora threw the table at Dillian Whyte.
Oh, yeah.
You know, everyone's looking forward to that kind of fight. When it's too respectful and too friendly sometimes, you're not really interested. But I saw the spite in both of their eyes today. They're both going for it tomorrow.
And you're no stranger to spite, because we know that you will call out anyone. You're a fighter that's always willing to fight someone. But before we move on to yourself and what you've been up to and what you're going to be getting up to, what are your predictions tomorrow on that headline? Is it going to be another fence sitting again?
Do you know what? It might start off a bit cagey because both carry dynamite in their hands. I think maybe towards later into the fight, maybe around 5 or 6, they're both going to let their hands go, and whoever lands is going to win the fight. I don't think that's going to go to the decision. I think someone's getting knocked out tomorrow. But I think we're in for a treat anyway. We're in for a good fight, which is why I'm going to be there ringside, man, like a fan, screaming and shouting.
If you had to put your money on it, then which one would you say? And I'm talking as you as a boxer, when you've looked at both styles, like you said, they both come up on the small hall. You'll know both of them. Boxing styles then, what are your thoughts on that and how they mismatch, gel together, and how that fight can really turn out? Because to me, completely different styles, and that's why I'm torn, but I don't know, what do you think about it?
I'm similar, you know, they both got very different styles. I know Jumah's got a very awkward southpaw style. I remember watching him at Riakporhe years ago when I think he won the Southern Area title or the English title. I can't remember what one it was, but he was throwing punches from angles and it was coming from back here and all them kind of stuff, and he was landing it anyway. And Richard's very, how can I say, almost perfect textbook boxing, clinical. He doesn't waste punches. That right hand has got dynamite in it as well. So I think it might even come down to who lands first, because both of them are gonna land, and I think whoever lands the bigger punch first is gonna go over. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's see.
It's mad. It's going to be a good one. But you mentioned another fight as well, matchroom fight with Craig Richards and Joshua Buatsi. Another domestic, light heavyweight division this time. Another exciting fight, and another fight again that people are struggling to pick a side.
Another great fight, you know. Another great fight. It's a fight that sort of shocked me when it came out because I didn't expect it. You know, if someone was to say, "Oh, what do you reckon about this?" I thought, they're not really gonna fight. You know, just because they're both on different paths or whatever. But when the fight came out, I was like, "Yo, bloody hell, they're actually gonna fight." You know, a great fight for British boxing. Craig's been at world level. He's fought guys like Bugion, he's fought Bivol, and Buatsi's trying to jump up to that level. So it's a good crossroads fight. It's a great crossroads fight. Buatsi's obviously got the amateur background, the Olympics, whatever. It's a great fight. It's a great fight. I'm torn between, I don't know.
You know that was going to be the next question.
I know that was going to be the next question. I'm getting better at these now.
Oh, yeah, because everyone's been asking the same stuff. But we're going to move on to yourself then. The last time we saw you out in a close fight, I was there, I watched it live. What's happening with yourself, and when are you out next?
Do you know what? I've just been training. I've been staying relatively in shape, ticking over, waiting for the phone call. I mean, I'm ready to fight anyone. Like as I always say, people maybe think I'm talking rubbish, but I'm really willing to fight anyone. I'm waiting for the phone call. There's a lot of guys in my division that aren't really, in my opinion anyway, aren't really doing much. I mean, there's Joe Cordino who don't know what's going on. Martin Ward don't know what's going on. Kid Galahad don't know what's going on. Zelfa Barrett's fighting for the European title when, you know, he won a world title eliminator. I think he should be going for the world title, but he's not going for it. So I don't know what's going on there too. But there's not much going on. Maybe they need to throw me in there and spice it up and rattle a few cages in the Super 8 division, because them guys seem to be too safety first with who they pick to fight and whatever. You know me, I'm the total opposite. I'll go in there and I'll fight all of them back to back, week after week after week, day after day if they want it. You know what I mean? So, but I don't know. I'm here waiting for the phone call and I'm ready.
You know, obviously you're managed by Dillian. Do you have to fight on only matchroom cards, or can you go cross-border and fight on any card? How does it work with you?
If I had it my way, I'd fight on any card. Yeah. But you know, I trust my management team.
Okay.
They know what's best for me in terms of where to fight, what show to fight under. Yeah. And I know they're working on something really big for me. I spoke to them, I spoke to Magic about 2-3 days ago. Caught up with him briefly in Nottingham at the Lee Wood fight. And he said, yeah, we're working on something big with you. Don't be disheartened, just stay working and be patient. We're gonna have something big for you. So I got all my trust in them, and I'm staying ready ready to pull that trigger when it's fight time. Let the beatings begin.
And that is good news, because that means we can be expecting to hear something from you soon. Obviously, your manager, Dillian, is due to take the stage again on April the 23rd against Tyson Fury. You're gonna back Dillian, because obviously you will, but how does Dillian beat him? Tyson Fury, elusive boxer, long rangey, but he's not afraid to come inside. We saw that with Deontay Wilder when he did get inside, got him on the ropes. How does Dillian beat Tyson Fury?
Do you know what? I think Tyson hasn't had anyone like Dillian stand in front of him before. You know, he's fought the likes of Klitschko, the Chisoras, the Wilders, but Dillian Whyte is a different kind of animal. Dillian Whyte is someone who will be in front of you and will be relentless, and nothing will dishearten him from trying to knock you clean out and spin your jaw. He's gonna keep coming. He's willing to leave it all in the ring. I don't think anyone else he's fought has been willing to do it the way Dillian. I'm not saying they're not willing to leave it in the ring, but Dillian takes it to another level when he's trying to leave it in the ring. So I think eventually somewhere in the fight, Dillian's gonna land a shot and Fury's not gonna get up this time, you know. But a lot of people saying, oh, because he took Wilder's shot and got up, he'll take Dillian's shot and get up. But this is Dillian Whyte. We're not talking about Deontay Wilder. This is a whole different animal. And they'll see it on Fight Night, you know. It's one of them ones. Dillian's keeping quiet about it, just chugging away, training. You know, the people will see. When it comes to Fight Night, the people will see.
We're definitely looking forward to that. Another domestic again. And obviously the WBC, something that Dillian's been chasing for a long time, something that he wants, something that he's dedicated his heart to capturing. But then we move on to his op, Anthony Joshua, who's going, well, we're hearing rumours and possibilities that he's going to be fighting Usyk. Now, as a boxing fan, take off the associations and the affiliations to Dillian. How do you see the rematch going with AJ and Usyk?
Do you know what? As much as I'd like to see AJ win the belts and keep the belts in Britain, I think it's going to be a very similar rematch. Only because I think Usyk is someone who's very well schooled. He's had a crazy amateur career. Guys from that part of the world seem to come with the maddest amateur careers. Won, I think, 2 gold medals in the Olympics. And I think that's going to get him over the line once again. I just see it going the same way, maybe even a lot easier for Usyk this time. But it's one of those fights. It's the heavyweight division. You never know what's going to happen in the heavyweight division. One punch can change anything. A jab can change the fight. So it's always going to be an intriguing fight to watch. And it's always going to be a thing where you never know what's really going to happen.
We'll say if AJ was to win then, you know, as a boxer, what does he need to do to win that?
I think he needs to use his size and his weight a bit better. Remember, Usyk is a cruiserweight coming up to heavyweight. He hasn't really got a size advantage on these guys. He's obviously the better boxer than Joshua, and Joshua needs to take it into his own hands and rough him up a bit more, turn it into a dirty, ugly fight, get nasty in there and rough him up. If he does that, I think Usyk's gonna, I don't know, he might crumble, he might not, we'll see. It's something he's got to do in there. Just get a bit nasty, get on the inside. Don't let him box because he's the better boxer. But yeah, that's just for me anyway. I don't know. His team probably got some game plan coming up. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think there's I don't know if I'm sure I saw something on social media with he's got James Ali Bashir, who is the former coach of Alexander Usyk. So it seems as if he's brought him in the camp. And I get it, he's no longer Usyk's trainer, but I always get a bit like, hold on a minute, you was my trainer. Fair enough, we've split ways, and now you go in and telling my opponent all my secrets. How important is it, and obviously from your experience, to stay with your trainer? Because they do know you. And the fact is they can take those trade secrets, those chinks in your armour, and then somebody will pay them that money. All right then, tell me what his weaknesses are. I don't know what your thoughts on that. It's just me, but I guess I see it personally and it's not his business. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Do you know what? Me looking at that situation there, you know, if I was James Ali Bashir and I was getting brought in to train someone, my focus will be on training that person. Whatever's happened in the past, I leave it in the past. I'm training and making him better. But I think a lot of times in boxing, a lot of boxers change coaches too much. You know, one loss and they want to jump ship and blame the coach. Whereas, you know, in boxing, the boxer's in the ring. You know, the coach may play a part in the loss, but ultimately it's the boxer that's in there. As a boxer, you know, if we're going for world titles and big titles and that, you should know what to do in there. Do you know what I mean? You should already have an idea. So to blame the coach, you know, it's a bit of a throw you under the bus kind of move. You know, a lot of boxers need to own up and take their losses, take the loss on the chin and come back. Just like what AJ did after the first Ruiz fight. He took the loss on his chin. You know, Dillian took the first Povetkin loss on his chin, didn't change any of his team. I took my loss, I didn't change any of my team. So, you just got to go back to the drawing board and have, it just shows you really have that trust in your team. Because if you really did, you wouldn't jump ship at the first sign of defeat or the first sign of trouble, you know?
Yeah, it's just something that I've always thought about, because we look at obviously the ex-champions and we think about, did they actually leave their coaches? And it seems like a lot of the older fighters, the older generation fighters, we're going back to the 80s and, you know, possibly even the 90s, they stayed with their coaches. I'm going to have to look at this, and somebody probably correct me in the comments, of people that did a lot of coach hopping, and it seems to be something that's happening more now. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Do you know what? It's sort of like maybe in the boxing culture. I remember when I was an amateur, I knew a lot of guys that used to gym hop. You know, and it might just be something that they do. You know, go one gym to the other, this gym, next gym, all the other gyms. It might just be something that they do. I mean, for me, I've always been a loyal person. You know, I was an amateur for 11 years. I've only been at 2 gyms. You know, and I'm loyal to my team. I know my team are loyal to me. And what it comes down to ultimately is I trust my team. Win, lose or draw, I know they have me, and I know they have my interests. My interests, you know, is the same as theirs. Exactly. So, yeah, man, I don't know. To understand someone who does that, you got to be one of them people. I'm not, so I don't understand it. You know? Yeah,
it's just something that I've always thought about. A bit of curiosity there with me as it flashed through my head, because I was thinking, you know, I know Mike Tyson didn't change until obviously Cos passed away. And obviously that's one of my favourite fighters, but then now I think I'm going to go and look back at the Bronze Bomber and all the rest of them, all the vintage fighters, because it seems today, and who was I talking to about it? I was speaking to someone about it the other day with the coaches, and it seems like the coaches are now taking the forefront. They're almost becoming the fighter. They're becoming like the celebrity in the boxing, and a lot of attention is drawn to the coaches. But you kind of quite rightly said, at the end of the day, a lot of it's down to the boxer, because they're the ones that have got to go in the ring and win.
Yeah, it's true. Like you said, a lot of the coaches want to become these celebrity coaches and stuff where, you know, the coaches I learned boxing with and I started boxing, even the coach now, my coach Xavier Miller, they're in it for boxing. They're in it purely for the love of the sport and purely for wanting to help their fighter do well. I feel like a lot of coaches nowadays aren't committed to that. A lot of coaches nowadays want to be the celebrity, want to be big on Instagram, want to get a blue tick on Instagram, you know. And it's sad for me to say, but, you know, now I see one thing that's happened in my career over and over again is when I've got something coming up, for example, when I had the Castaneda fight coming up, when I had the Kane Baker fight coming up, everybody wanted to be a part of my team. Everybody was all of a sudden available to hold the pads for me and do conditioning for me, you know, and do all this and all that for me. But times like now, for example, where there's not really much going on for me, I've got no fight coming up, I ain't fought in a long time, you know, I've disappeared for a while, kinda. You know, where is everyone? Where was everyone that was free leading up to the Castaneda fight? Do you know what I mean? And in a way, it's a positive. It just goes to show me who's really with me. You know, because I know my coaches, you know, Xavier and Nick, are around for me all the time. Yeah, wherever we got a big fight, whether it's small hall, no matter where I'm gonna be, them guys, they're gonna be there ready to train me anytime. Not just pop up for the big events or pop up when there's clout to gain. Because a lot of people like popping up when there's clout to gain. You know, do a little video on the pads of him, show it on the gram, get some followers off me. Do you know what I mean?
What a brutal world of boxing. Do you know what I mean? I know we could go on about this, but that is a good thing, because I think if people listen to this, they might be in similar situations. I've seen it with boxers. You like the talk of the town, the heat of the moment, and then when the chips are down, boxing's fickle, ain't it? Everyone turns their back, they run off, they disappear. Probably even see you in the street and probably turn away and walk the other way, like they can't have that conversation. One thing it does do is it shows who's really real, because the real ones stay with you no matter what. So I think that was really important for you to say that, and I appreciate that, because a lot of people don't understand it or they don't see it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And when something happens like a loss, you gotta take the positives. One of the positives is that you see who's really with you. You know, it's like when I was doing the tickets, a lot of people complain about having to sell tickets on small hall, but it shows you who's really willing to support your journey when nothing's happening. You know, when there's no title fight, when there's nothing to gain from being your friend. You know, it's good for me, so now I get to see who's really my friend.
Well, yeah.
Exactly, you know what I mean?
And I guess it's good to learn those lessons early, rather than you sit there on your mountains of cash in your mansion with people clipping your toenails and polishing your walls, and they're all fake, and just waiting to get that change off you.
No, facts. We all see it. You know, it's almost like the Rocky movie when you know, when Rocky had his downfall and everybody left him, and he had to go back to the hood in Philadelphia and stuff. He had to leave his mansion. So it's good. It's good to see it early on, and it just shows you know, to keep the real people who are really with you close to you, and value their friendship more than anyone is just gonna pop up. So yeah.
The beauty of boxing, October Red Boxing, here with the lovely Youssef, Super, Khoumari. Until the next time, man, it's been brilliant catching up.
Yeah, definitely. It's always good to talk to you. And I'll see you at the show tomorrow.
Hi, and thank you for watching October Red Boxing. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications. You can also find us on Instagram at October Red Boxing and on Twitter, October Red UK. And remember, at October Red, we stay ready.